All right, let's see. Mic check. Should be able to see. Looks like landscape. David, Super Dave. What's a pit? What's a COG? Good morning, Montu. What is trading? It's only the coolest thing in the world. All right, cool. Good morning, CT Fox, Singh, Antonio, Aaron, Rick, Jo, the Goat, Donovan, Bryant, Jose. All right, folks. Blue here. Trade Phantoms. www.com. Trade Phantoms. Cool. Let's go. I think this is the best I can get it here. Hopefully y'all are good with this here. Let's dive in. Busy week this week. We had VIX up yesterday. So this is going to be a quick little 1 hour session with you guys on YouTube. We see a couple of phantoms in here, and just to get a taste of kind of what it's like, being a phantom, professionally trading. All right, cool. So yeah, TradePhantoms.com here. Mr. Blue, give you a quick little pre-market analysis, kind of a process system, one processor system that you can go through, what's called, to kind of prep for your trading day. I'll focus primarily on futures and options, and stock and stock options. I'll say the FANG stocks. All right, and just real quick, if you are really super new, we have just a quick little checklist here to kind of start the morning off. The foundation that Phantoms operates off of is institutional order flow, institutional demand, institutional supply, starting from a top-down approach, multiple time frame analysis, top-down, meaning we're going to be starting with high time frames, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, we actually just had a nice little session yesterday with the team at Phantoms, going over this top-down approach. As a reminder, as these markets are coming off all-time highs and pulling back. Okay, so we want to be prepared and organize our data based on the supply-demand top-down approach to make sure that we are prepared for a good location and area of demand where this market could potentially take a high probability bounce and continue potentially with its bull market rally, right? So there's a whole thing that we went through kind of yesterday. Spent a couple of hours as we also trade live too and take setups. Okay, and so this is long story short, one of the checklists here that as you remember, you can have just to utilize. Okay, I've got a couple candlesticks here. All right, bullish, bearish candlesticks, location. We talk a lot about location, and then we also have what's called liquidity map here. Just my style of trade from New York City as a professional trader, more market maker style. So this is what we call the liquidity map, and then we kind of break it down quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. So therefore we have orders of operation, so we know exactly when to execute, when, where, and why, right? No thoughts, no feelings, execution over emotion. Okay, so there you go, folks. I'm going to be utilizing a think or swim in TradingView. I always get questions about that. Okay, so this will be TradingView, but this is going to be think or swim in the background here. I did want to check just one thing with y'all too. We have, let me see, if I just go check the news really quickly. Today is Thursday, right? The 25th of July, 2024. And it's fairly quiet here. We just had news come out in the U.S., unemployment claims. Okay, so, we talk, I'm not going to make this about fundamentals right now, but, we have Mr. Green, who is literally breaks down all key fundamentals, and he does a really great job at that. Right. So, but more. What we're going to be doing here just this morning is news is one thing. long story short, news is one thing, but how's the market reacting and responding is to the news is the main thing. Okay, so point that I'm trying to make here is the news is done for the most part. We have a couple things here. I'm sorry, a couple things here down here, but that's going to be mainly Europe. It was a big week for currencies, for you currency traders out there. I love trading currencies as well. More of a macro swing trader on them, but hopefully y'all are doing good in forex there. All right, so pretty quiet. Tomorrow's going to be a fairly quiet day too. We do have core PCE. Okay, so the main talk is essentially earnings, right? This is the earnings. I took Tesla and Google. I was wrong on both of them. All right, small loss. All right, so that's the one I'm only playing. But if you're playing earnings, this is the earnings for the remainder of the week here. Friday we got 3M. Tomorrow, tonight after close, Thursday we got a couple things. Texas Roadhouse making me hungry. Skechers, really nice. Nothing too crazy here. Nothing that I'm really going to be playing here. I'm going to be waiting for next week to see. I think we have a couple of other big FANG tickers that have earnings for next week. So I'll put a pin in that. All right. So as mentioned, I'm going to start with Thinkorswim here, monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, monthly, weekly, daily. This is Thinkorswim. Okay, top-down approach. Let's see. I'm going to switch this over just to the different screen here, just to give you a quick lay of the land of just overall markets here. I got the S&P futures daily time frame on the upper left. I got Nasdaq upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 on the bottom right. This is futures. I know it might be difficult to see here, so I'll kind of blow this up here with the group and the team. Okay, we've been talking a lot about great bull market, and we even talked a little bit about this on Tuesday, on Tuesday's live stream on in YouTube, where we have we came into this area of demand. Okay, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We had a pullback. Okay, started last week. Okay, we had a pullback into demand. We tried to take a little bit of a bounce here. Okay, and we talk about structure, right? Higher high, higher lows. Three main things that we talk a lot about. If I have more time here, we discuss this in more detail. But location, condition, and structure. Okay, location, condition, and structure. Right, location. Where are we on the supply demand equation? Are we too high? Are we down low, closer to demand? Condition. Are we in a trend, higher high, high low, fast moving trend, or slow moving uptrend, or downtrend? Okay, lower low, low high, or are we in a range condition, sideways? Okay, and then structure. Okay, what structure? Higher high, higher low, and is it if and when is it breaking? So this was the pullback that we had on dailies last week. Okay, and then we attempted to try to obviously make an equal to our new high, nowhere close to it, and then we finally have a little quick new low here. Okay, so the daily structure is starting to change just a little bit here. Okay, however, we talked about this a lot yesterday. All right, in the room. But in the live trade room, but we still have to worry, or not worry, we still have to analyze that the higher time frames as well, like the weekly and monthlies, could be coming down into some deeper weekly demand, and we discussed that. Okay, so I'll get down to the smaller time frames here in a moment. Okay, Mark Ford. I'll check out Ford coming into weekly daily demand. All right, I can check that out. Let me put a note on that just real quick when I get to the screens of stocks. Okay, so we mapped out a couple levels down here. Okay, yellow. You see yellow and blue down in here. I can say that. So we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, when I go over what's called Globex traps. Nasdaq. I can say that almost the same thing for Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been a little bit more weaker. Okay, just in this pullback because tech has been getting pulled back deeper. Mainly the Magnificent Seven, right? But you put that into perspective. Nasdaq has been the strongest. Tech sector, being Nasdaq, has been the strongest sector all year, right? So it went up the most, so therefore it has more room to kind of go down the most, right? So a little bit of an outflow coming out of tech and going into small caps, okay? But still, tech is going to be a major player here, right? So you can see that we, Nasdaq already made lower low, low high on daily, but we are coming into this weekly area of demand down in here, okay? So even though this market is pulling back, okay, we still have to put that into perspective, all right? And that's what we did. I spent some time on that yesterday with the team just to prepare folks. Okay, all right. So I'll get down to the smaller time frames here. All right, small caps is worth noting too. Small caps is some money flow coming into small caps. I want to see if that continues. Okay, I'm a big. I love options. I love to study options. I love to study the order flow of options, things like that. It's beyond the scope of this day here this morning. But I got my eye on IWM here because there's some inflow of money's coming out of tech. Okay, but I want to see how Nasdaq is going to respond down here at this level. Okay, now that being said, let me go to the darker background because I believe that is probably easier to see if I'm not mistaken. All right, I'll switch over to S&P futures. Okay, I'll give you all a little treat here on YouTube. All right, there's something called the Globex trap. You can take a quick read at that if you'd like. All right, not too much here, but this is a page right out of the session that we classes that we have here. So this is what's called a Globex trap. Okay, and we discussed this in more detail, but that's what I'm going to be covering here right now regarding futures. Okay, so S&P futures. All right, I have the monthly time frame here in the left. I have the weekly time frame here in the middle. I have the daily time frame here on the right. So I got monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, high time frame. So we always want to start from the high time frame first. However, I'm going to drill down, get straight to the point here, and go to the what we call the intermediate time frame. So I got the 60-minute time frame up here on the upper left. I have the 30-minute time frame here lower left. Okay, I have the 5-minute here in the middle, and I have the 2-minute here on the right. So we talk about 3 main time frames as a minimum: high time frame, intermediate time frame, if you will, and then the small time frame. Okay, high time frame, location, area, structure. Okay, intermediate time frame, trend. Okay, what's the trend? And then small time frame is going to be the time frames where you're going to be executing your said trades if you have a valid setup. Okay, that being said, I'm going to open up the 60-minute time frame here of the S&P futures. Okay, a couple of lines here. I got to kind of clean up a little bit here. Clean house. Yesterday was a day. Okay, yesterday was a day, to say the least. Right. So that being said, let's move on here. One of the first things is mentioned. You want to map out what's called the Globex high, Globex low, and man, I got to clean this up a little bit here. I have to, because this is just too much. Usually I don't like to delete too many lines because I like to show people how levels worked out, but sometimes you got to just move on and just, you can reference the recordings and the past recordings and things like that. All right. The cool thing about what we do here at Phantoms is, everything is recorded. So you get to see everything, wins, losses, everything. That's the cool thing about it. All right. If that's kind of what you're looking for there, real traders. Okay. That said, Globex low, represented by this blue line here. Think or swim, it grays out the kind of overnight session. Okay. All right, so this is the overnight session. Globex is the overnight session. So therefore, I want to map out where it was the high and where was the low. I got to take this white line out. This is just too much there. All right, so we can see and update our data. Okay, so we have Globex high being here, Globex low being here, represented by that blue line here. Okay, and one of the things we talk about is a Globex trap short. Okay, so if I look up and left, okay, we do have some supply up here. Yesterday was a big drop out yesterday, right? And we had some demand here, and it fell out. So this is what's called also a flip area of supply. Okay, so we have a drop, a basing, okay, a drop, a basing, and a big drop out. So this is going to be decent here today for what's called a Globex trap short. Okay, a potential Globex trap short. We have a couple levels on here, levels on levels. If you ever went to Mr. Black's YouTube streams, he talks a lot slower than myself too. He talks a lot about levels on levels, supply levels on top of supply levels, and or demand levels on top of demand levels. We'll do demand next. Okay, but today this might come into play here potentially. I'll use even numbers here. So we got S&P futures, Globex trap short into the supply area here. Call it 5560, just to keep the numbers nice and simple and even here. Okay, 5560. That would be a decent little area here for a Globex trap short. We would have to break the Globex high, rally up into this area here, and this could be an area of interest where you might want to, if I'm long, make sure you take profit. Okay, targets. Okay, and then we can maybe rotate into selling short, coming into this level of supply. All right, there's another one here as well. Up here. Now these levels were formed overnight. Okay, so they're a little bit less reliable versus the regular trading hours. Okay, so there's level on level up here, but I also want to make a note here. There's a gap. Okay, futures very rarely gap because they trade overnight. Right? If there is a gap, sometimes it'll be on the weekends because futures close on the weekends, but futures trade overnight. So if you work on a 9 to 5 and you can't day trade the regular trading hours, 9:30 to 5 a.m. 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 4 p.m. Eastern, the regular stock market hours. Okay, you can trade forex or futures because it trades overnight. Okay, so you can wake up super early in the morning before you go to work, or maybe trade at night if you're a night owl. Right? So flexibility, right? That's the cool thing about trading. All right, you can kind of input it into your lifestyle. All right, and help you generate extra income and build this skill set. Okay. All right. So long story short, there you get these numbers here. If I were to put a number on this, let's just keep it simple here. 5600. Okay, that would be the gap fill. All right, so I'll make a note of there, G trap, but also this is going to be a gap fill. It's an unfilled gap now, but if it comes up here, it could potentially fill this gap. Okay, it's an unfilled gap right now, but if they come up, it could potentially fill this gap. Right, that comes in about 5,600, just to keep it short and sweet with nice even numbers there. All right, moving on. Globex low right here. So if we break the Globex low and we come down into this level of demand here, okay, I'm gonna kind of zoom in here if I may. All right, I'm going to take this line here, all right, just so we can save some time. There's also an unfilled gap down in here below, okay, so you might want to make a note of that. This would be a nice, decent area of decent little demand here with a nice little gap up here. Broke this supply here back in mid-June. All right, long story short here, the price, 54.30 in S&P futures. This would be nice for a Globex trap bullish trade long, okay? So I'll bring that number and price over there to the far right. So we'll see that when I zoom back out. In the event that that level breaks, there's a lot of wicks here, right here. So I want to be a little, cautious with this demand area here. This would be a little bit more extreme. The fact that this is a nice even number here too, as well, 5,400, just a psychological number. I would want to pin 5,400 here as well. Okay. Now they might want a liquidity sweep down here. I already had made a note about that. All right. So there's something called the liquidity sweep that I talk a lot about. That if I had more time, I'd do that. Okay, so I'd put a pin at 5,400 as well, just naturally so, even number. Okay, but we could swipe below that if we get really good momentum here today. Again, continuation to the downside. Okay, we could swipe, and flush out a bit more. And if we're trading below 54, people are like, oh no, S&P futures are breaking 5,400. That's it. It's dead. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. And it's come right back into another level of demand right below for a liquidity sweep. Okay, so you might want to pin 53.90 and 53.80 as a potential liquidity sweep in the event that this market continues its flush down. Okay. All right, so that's kind of the upper and the bullish and the bearish. Okay, the bulls and the bears. All right, so 53.30, 5,400. I brought those prices over there, hard right edge, so y'all can see that. Okay, and then we get these supply zones up here. Okay, these are what's called Globex traps. All right, let's move on. I'm going to do Nasdaq now. Okay, so that was S&P futures. I'm going to do Nasdaq next. All right. As always, just real quick, starting with the monthly, the weekly, the daily. We had a good session yesterday talking about, as mentioned, the higher time frames. I do want to make a note here. This is the NASDAQ futures. But the QQQs, which is the ETF of NASDAQ, we are opening up into a level of daily demand right in here, okay? We were kind of grading. We grade these levels, making sure that meaning we score / grade those levels, right? Kind of like when you're in school. Did you get an A on your paper that you writ or your test? B, C, or D, fail, F, fail, right? So we don't want to take failing zones, okay? We want to take valid, good zones, A plus, B plus zones, right? So this is a decent one here. Would I call it A plus? No, not really, because we have more of a higher confluence score down here, lower in the NASDAQ, because we have more multiple time frame confluence, being the monthly, weekly, and daily down in here. Okay. However, it's noteworthy to say that this level, we can't ignore this level right here, this impulse, this basing, and this impulse. So even though Nasdaq got crushed yesterday, okay, it was down 3% almost, give or take, right? Give or take. Let me just delete this line here real quick. Clean that up a little bit there for us. Okay. We're coming today. This morning, we're right inside of this demand zone right here. So just you want to make a note of that. Okay. And we'll trade the open here, as you'll see in about 20, 30 odd minutes here. Okay, so this is futures. All right, monthly, weekly, daily. All right, yellow location. This is why I, just really quick as a reminder. Okay, I color code certain things here. You don't have to do it that way, but I color code. Once I see, a yellow box, I know that that's going to be having to do with the weekly time frame. So I have yellow demand down in here on the weekly time frame, right? So monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, now I'm going to drill down as I did in the futures with S&P. I'm going to do that for Nasdaq. I'm going to just open up the 60-minute time frame here. Okay. This was yesterday. We were talking a lot about how you could trade, which we did. We do it live, okay? But I was just helping the team navigate what's called negative COGs, okay, and how to take action on this. So I'm going to delete this. Right, there it goes for you. If you guys are not phantoms in the room, this was a little lesson that we had yesterday, and we were talking about entering and proper stop loss placement and timing the right what's called entry for to sell short. Okay, so these little red circles here. Or these little, gray circles that are wrapped around what's called these little red bars here, negative COGs, were all entries in which the Phantoms team took advantage of yesterday. So I have to delete this work now because this is going to be too insane here to organize our data here for today. Okay, so yeah, there you go. You saw a little bit of a work that we did under the hood here for y'all on YouTube. All right, I'm just gonna clean this up here. All right, so we can move on. That was a good session yesterday that we had. All right, let's make it another good session here today. All right, let me go back to the 60-minute time frame here. Clean that up a little bit. Those lines were crazy, right? So, yeah, we broke this level of demand. We were talking about this, right? We broke this level. I was actually surprised how much we went down yesterday. The VIX exploded yesterday, up 20 something, over 20%. So we'll talk about VIX in a moment here. All right. So yeah, this was hard to catch. I didn't even try to catch nothing of a bounce over here on Nasdaq yesterday. I was just trying to get long puts and ride those. Okay, so I was doing credit spreads on SPX for the bounce, which ended up taking a little small loss towards the end of the day yesterday. All right, but we crushed everything else for the most part. All right, that was another lesson that we did on credit spreads too. So, anyways, I'm going to clean this up just a little bit and get to the point here. If I go, map out I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I'll keep that blue box there for reference, but these lines are getting insane here, right? So therefore, I'm going to just do the system here: Globex low, Globex high, starting here. So this is going to be the Globex low. This is going to be the Globex high, right here. All right, G trap. We have some supply up here. Kind of levels on levels up here as well. I'll get you some prices in a moment here. All right, I'm just going to save some time here, copy and paste these lines here. Almost touched this Globex trap 2 days ago. All right, but these ones are fairly decent up here. All right, so that comes in 19,000, call it 920. I'm sorry, 720, 19,720, 19,720. Typo. Then we have, I would also pin this too, but I'm just going to pin very similar to the S&P. I'm going to pin that gap fill up here, just even more importantly right here. Okay, so it's going to be that gap fill here. Call it 19,945-ish. Okay. And let me make a note of that. G-trap short, yes, but gap unfilled. It's unfilled, but this could be a potential gap fill up here if this market takes a relief rally today. Okay. Now, just because yesterday was a major down day does not mean it's going to have continuation. Okay, we could have a relief. Okay, we can have a relief fade rally coming up. Okay, so make sure you trust your supply demand zones. That being said, if I look at the Globex trap, this is the Globex low right here. I'm going to go down and below and investigate this area down in here. Okay, now the good news is this: we already have levels mapped out. So if I kind of just go over here and zoom in to this weekly level, okay, weekly, I know it's weekly because of yellow. All right, we have a couple of prices here. Let me see if I can make this a better color, so y'all can maybe see it a bit better. If I have yellow background, okay, maybe y'all can see that a little bit better. The prices there. Okay, so we have an IBI in here. All right, let me bring this box over here. Okay, there's the green. So inside of this weekly, we have a couple of what's called IBIs. Okay, institutional demand zones. Okay, so that comes in about 18,800. We have another one in here as well. Call it 18,740. And these are deeper into the weekly demand. Okay, deeper into the weekly demand. So the Qs would have to come down a little bit more. Nasdaq futures would have to come down a little bit more. But these levels here are fairly good. Okay, because we have a nice prime level and it's inside of a rally, a basic, and a big rally out popping new highs. But more importantly, okay, inside of this yellow box is representing that weekly demand. Okay, I'll pin one more down here. So we have. Let me just clean this line up here real quick. Take this line here, duplicate that, put it right here so you can see it. I already made a note here, but I know it might be difficult to see with the yellow background there. But I want to keep that front and center. All right, there's another price here, 18,000. 18,005, call it 90. Right. So these are going to be fairly decent here, okay, for Globex trap longs. Okay, QCOM, I'll check out QCOM. Donovan, good to see you, brother. Donovan, Mr. Football, turning into a really good trader. The growth is insane. All right. So there's your kind of lay of the land. All right, lay of the land here, 18,800. All right. Here, I'll give you the prices here. Maybe zoom in a little bit there. 18,800, 18,740, 18,000. Call it 590. All right. These are going to be very good for some Globex trap longs bullish inside that weekly. Okay. All right. Moving on. I'll give you the supply right there real quick. 9,720, and then we got 19,945 with that gap fill up here as well. Okay. All right, so we got 20 minutes to the open. 20 minutes to the open. Let me just take a quick peek at oil and gold. I don't think I'm going to go too much in detail with oil and gold just for right now. The oil monthly, weekly, daily range condition. Okay, not a lot to talk about here for the most part. It's just been riding momentum up, riding momentum down inside of this monthly range that's been going on for years. Okay, location-wise, we're a little bit more lower on the range and curve than we're closer to demand than supply, to put it short and sweet. Okay, and oil did just dip down into this little IBI right down in here. Considering that as well. Okay, so we got some weekly kind of daily demand down in here. Okay. And we just dipped into that right now. I'll go to the 60-minute time frame, the 1 hour time frame here, and just kind of show you a couple things here. Right, so we got the Globex low, mapping out the Globex low, Globex high. All right, and I already had this level mapped out here, 76.25, and then I got 75 down here. 76.25 got hit overnight and is kind of bouncing off up off that daily demand zone, as you see right here on the right hand side here. Okay, so we kind of dipped down into that. All right, so we are low on the curve and low on the range there. So this might be valid here for a decent. If it does dip down into the 75 here, that would be valid. Okay, it would be counter trend momentum, as I have a note right here. Counter trend momentum, if you can read that. All right, but decent location, not the greatest. Okay, condition of oil right now is very range. So inside of a range, you want to be a bit more attune into trading the upper range and lower range. Okay, so I've been trying to ride this bull wave here, but I got stopped out of my swings in stop lock. Okay, which I mentioned about, and as I had to, because the momentum in this little short uptrend in here, the range is too powerful, so it's coming right back down low range. Okay, so there goes those big three that I talk a lot about, right? That we talk a lot about, location, condition, and structure. Okay, so long story short, oil is very rangy right now. Globex trap short. I still have this level mapped out here. This one still would be a decent one up here, so call it 78.80. All right, and these lines. Let me just I gotta clean up at some point, right? So I'll keep that blue box there as reference. Took a little bit of a couple bounces out of here. All right, but again, came back lower down in the range. All right, this level is going to be a bit more lower in range. There's also another one down here, 73.50, that you might want to make a note of as well. I'm not sure if that's going to happen today. But it's definitely a level that you want to, I would suggest, maybe put on your screen there, 73.50. All right, so oil's taking a bit of a bounce there out of that level. Let me do gold just real quick as well. Let's see, gold, love gold. Now gold was a bit tricky yesterday. We had a nice, what's called monthly, weekly, daily macro up. We had a decent positive COG close 2 days ago, if you know what that means, but we did not follow through with that. So now gold is a bit more, even though it's macro picture up, it's still fairly rangy. It did make all-time highs, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, give or take. Okay, but this, you see how the weeklies here, okay, it's kind of a mess. Okay, so gold, similar to oil, even though gold is, obviously with a stronger moving condition, fast-moving uptrend, just, gold is still, kind of choppy here too. So, it's trying to get some steam, but it's coming back down lower range. Okay, we did have another level mapped out right here as well in futures that I will show you on the 60-minute time frame here. All right, and these levels here we talked a little bit about. Okay, try to beware, but we mapped out the supply, the demand. Okay, right, Globex traps, etc., etc., etc. Gold is coming down into the 2666 level, which was the next level down below in the event that we broke here, right? So if I map out my Globex high, Globex low, let me zoom in here a bit. This is the Globex low right here. All right, so basically that demand zone that we have already kind of pinned, the 2366, is kind of using it as demand right now, support as the Globex low. All right, in the event that we continue, if we do swipe down, this is not a fresh prime level right here, so I want to be careful with this one here at 23.55. But you might want to write this one down. This one is decent down here, 23.45. That would be nice for a Globex trap, and this is going to be coming deeper into, again, that weekly demand zone. How do I know it's weekly demand zone? Because it's the yellow box. Okay, so that's a decent one right in here. Okay, so 23.45 is something that I'd be comfortable with mentioning here on YouTube, for YouTube here, just to give you the more higher probability level. Okay, I'm not sure if anybody took this one. This one was a cautious area here, Globex trap. You can see, it worked out. All right, but that's the with the expense of not having a positive COG fall through on dailies. Okay, so we might be coming a little bit more lower. 23.45 would be beautiful here today, this morning, if that hit. All right, Globex trap would be probably this level up here again. All right, but I'd be careful with this. Beware. I already have a note on that because this is not prime. It already got tested. This hit right here is a test to here. So the next one up would be 24.55, and that one might be fairly decent. But not sure if we're gonna get up there today. I doubt that. But that's because mapping out the Globex high, Globex low, and the levels, the high probability levels. Okay, that's what we have right now in gold. Okay. Okay. Take a sip of water. I'm going to transition here to stock, equities, and options. That was just futures, S&P, NASDAQ, gold, and oil. And hold on, I just want to see, we had a couple of phantoms. I want to see something Ford. Had a couple of requests. Let me just check out Ford. Just had earnings. So this just had earnings. All right, and it's gapping down fairly decent here off said earnings. And yeah, Ford is in a demand zone here. It's going to be gapping down into a demand zone here. Can't argue with that. All right, Ford's very rangy stock. All right, very rangy. So not bad, decent location. I would suggest maybe typically after it's earnings, right? So if you're trading stock, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're trading the option, implied volatility is going to be still a bit more high right off the open. So you might want to wait for the dust to settle just a little bit on that. But we do have level on level in here. Again, I'm doing this extremely quick. All right, extremely quick. We have level on level here. So and this is a very rangy stock. Okay, so just put that into perspective. But yeah, you can't argue with the it's gapping down forward here, gapping down into that demand zone right there. Okay, so that's gonna be more inclined to maybe take a bounce out of here. All right, but it could go a little bit lower down into level on level. Okay, QCOM, I have QCOM already mapped out. Let me just see. This was like just a quick little request. I want to see what's happening here. Good job, Revolver. Good job. Congratulations, man. If you got Ford, you got some puts printing. Good job, man. Good job, good job, good job. QCOM. Like trading QCOM. It's actually on my list of faves. QCOM. Yeah, QCOM very similar to the NASDAQ is coming down into a decent level of demand. All right, and we have a gap down into this level. So this reminds me, I was going to talk about Microsoft too as well. So this wick is kind of annoying here with the demand zone here. Yeah, we have something here. We could have a liquidity sweep right below here too with this gap. So just make a note of that. All right. All right, and then we'll wait. And of course, good location, decent. Okay, might be liquidity sweep right below this low right here because we have a gap down. This pre-market quote. So I'm not sure if it'll do it, but if it flushes out a bit more, this could be an area. Now you want to make sure that the intraday price action tape, the tape as we call it, we're tape rippers at Phantoms. We trade the price action tape, right? No thoughts, no feelings, strategy and edge. As always, make sure the intraday tape satisfies the entry. Okay. All right. Let me go to VIX just real quick. Let me go to VIX. Usually we map out what's called the call put quadrant, but I don't have enough time to do that right now. That's more advanced. VIX was up a lot yesterday. Okay, it's still relatively speaking low. Okay, right, but it's off of the lows. It's no longer 11, 12 sub. It's 19, 20 sub. So yesterday we had a nice move up in VIX, which helped us continue to press shorts in the market. Okay, actually yesterday this level that we were coming into in the SPYs and Qs were more annoying than anything. I would almost wish this level wasn't even here because it kind of changed a little bit of the way how I added, right? Because I wanted to add more, but I wanted to be a bit cautious just because we're coming into this level. Even though albeit the VIX was just up exploding. So, but we we wrote some nice puts yesterday. But I had to just be a little cautious at that level that we could dipping into, and then SPYs just and Qs just continue to dump out. Okay, now this morning we got VIX. We had a little bit of a gap up. Now it's red on the day. Okay, we're still up just a little bit. I'd call it break even right now. Up 0.50%. That's really nothing. But the VIX up, market down. VIX down, market up. So it's an inverse correlation. Okay, inverse correlation. I can't trade without the VIX. So I need to know. This is the volatility index. Okay, S&P implied volatility. SPX options implied volatility 30 days out. So if the VIX is up, okay, that's going to be more bearish. If the VIX is coming down and collapsing down, okay, that's going to be more bullish. Okay, I'll leave it there for right now. All right, Qs. All right, I'm sorry, SPYs. All right, there's going to be really no gap here. All right, well, slight gap up. This is where we closed yesterday. Okay, this is the level that we were kind of talking about coming into yesterday. All right, and then if we have a slight gap up, I'm not even going to waste our time because it's barely a gap up. It's not even worth our time. So we'll save some oxygen there. Slight gap up on Qs as well. Very small, very small. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low is here, and Nasdaq. Just update that really briefly here. Hold on. I moved my lines for the session that we had yesterday, so I'm just kind of updating that for us. All right, Qs are gapping down. Gapping up slightly, but we are opening up in this demand zone that we kind of already footnoted here. Okay, so I'm gonna go kind of fast here. We have 9 minutes before the market open. Now I know there's a lot of stocks out there on the planet. Okay, just real quick for you free YouTubers. All right, matter of fact, let me just before I go into the quotes and the gaps on FANG stock here, if this is of interest of you, okay, go to TradePhantoms.com. Okay, you can check us out there. Okay, click the register button if you see fit. And then, July 31st will be an opportunity, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, essentially next week. Okay, next Wednesday. You type your name, you email in there, and you'll get access to a class for 90 minutes, give or take, hosted by Mr. Black and Mr. Green. Usually they both do that with each other there, helping each other out. All right, and this is kind of what you'll learn just real quick as I take a sip of water, how markets work from professionals. All right, multi-directional, up, down, sideways, options, all stocks, futures, forex, options, all the way from short-term trading to long-term wealth management. We do it all here. Okay, all professionally trained, and you can check it out. All right. Okay, water, hydration. All right, moving on. Apple. All right, as mentioned, I'm going to go through FANG, Apple, Amazon, Google, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, AMD, etc., QCOM, Netflix. The reason why is because I want to be extremely safe with everybody, especially doing things online, okay, especially on YouTube, okay. So I know that these options, first of all, I know the stocks are legit, okay, because there's a lot of weird stocks out there, okay, and most importantly. And then second most important is I know that the liquidity is liquid if you're buying stock and or if you're buying and selling options. Okay, so I have to make sure because there's a lot of stocks out there, but then I go to the options chain and there's no options on it, not available, and or the options are not liquid. They're not liquid, so the bid and the ask spread is very wide, and that's not good for trading a professional product. Okay, so therefore I know that these stocks and these tickers here, okay, are going to be very legit and very liquid in terms of the options. Okay, there's my footnote there, backdrop. Okay, so we got Apple. All right. I missed Apple yesterday. So the team called this out. Oh man, this was the one that got away from me yesterday. But we had an inside bar break. Somebody called that out in the room, in the chat, in the trade room, which makes me so happy because people are learning how to navigate these markets professionally. Okay, but today, no gap today. No gap today, so it's basically where we closed yesterday is where we're going to be opening. So we don't need to say anything here. We're kind of in the middle. We're in the middle of yesterday's breakdown. Right, we're in the middle of yesterday's breakdown. Right, this drop, this base, this drop. So naturally, there's going to be something here if we rally back up here, at least as a test, a retest. Okay, and then we get demand down here. So Apple's kind of in the middle, right? It's in the middle. So we want to be careful with that because the location is in the middle. So typically you'd like to have it lower to be more of a bullish, okay, or upper or higher if you want to be more, coming into supply to be bearish, right? So be careful with Apple this morning. Okay, we already broke down, but the middle of the location is not stellar. Okay, so be careful with this one. Amazon, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. This is just a daily time frame, okay? But always remember, we always, we did a lot of session, we did a lot of time on this. I'm still analyzing the monthly, the weekly, and the daily, okay? But I'm just gonna go straight to the point here and just use the daily and get you some gaps, okay? Or show you some gaps and if they're valid or not, okay? Or how strong they are or not strong. Amazon, that being said, gap up. Inside gap is the pre-market quote. Out of all the other stocks that I see with Fang, I mean, Amazon is a bit more relatively stronger, at least for right now. Okay, and the thing about this too is, we are somewhat closer to demand. Okay, than we are say, using Apple as a comparison, the one that we just compared. Okay, but it could go lower. There's another little demand zone right here as well. All right, I'm sure some of you not TikTokers, but YouTubers are like, oh, look at this head and shoulders. Yes, I see the head and shoulders. All right, basic technical analysis. All right. There it is right there, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So we could have a little bit of a breakdown here, okay, but that would bring us to this level right in here. All right, but this is a decent little gap up here, so we'll see how the intraday tape pans out. Google just had earnings. All right, so the dust has settled off of Google earnings. We talked a little bit about this yesterday in the trade room. Google does have some weekly demand down in here. Okay, weekly demand down in here. So, even though earnings, it gapped down on earnings, look at the rising 20 period moving average here too. This is not bad for a potential swing trade potentially. The only challenge with this is it's kind of ugly demand zone. It's not the greatest in the world, but location, not too bad. All right, not too bad. So, yeah, we'll talk about, if I had more time, I'm only going to be able to spend an hour with you all here today, but usually we talk about swings and things like that, holding trades for, not just a day or an hour, maybe for a couple of weeks, maybe if not a couple of months, okay? But Google is coming down into an interesting level where you might want to navigate that for some swing trade. But I would like to time that with the NASDAQ, which we talked a lot about yesterday. Today, as far as a gap, slight gap down. So I want to be careful with this one because it's going to be a tough short coming into this demand zone, but the demand zone is not great. So that's the challenge here. So we'll see how the intraday tape pans out. Tesla, you can't even see this because I had so many notes here from the earnings. So I'm just noticing that we got like 2-3 minutes before this market opens. So I don't want to delete any of this right now because we're still talking about and learning from the earnings with the team at Phantoms. All right, so I'll just skip Tesla just for right now. And also, just long story short, we're also in the middle of range, which is not ideal anyways in Tesla on the monthlies and weeklies. So I think it's a good pass anyways. We have Meta. Decent. This is not the freshest prime level in the world. It's been tested a couple times here. So Meta's a little odd right now, just where it is, and where it is on the higher time frames, and it's kind of gappy and things like that. So be careful and cautious with Meta. Want to make sure that the intraday tape is really stellar to take this. Yesterday had a nice gap down and followed through along with Microsoft as well. But we caught this in Qs. Right, we caught it in Qs and Nasdaq futures for the team. Microsoft, if nothing has changed, was interesting. I was looking at it earlier this morning. We had a pre-market quote down here, which I really got excited about. It looks like it changed now from a couple of hours ago, 2 minutes before open here. But when I looked at the quote earlier this morning, we were trading somewhere down here, and I got happy because, not happy, but I was like, oh, nice, some opportunity. Why? Because we would be gapping down into this nice little, decent little demand zone right here, along with the Qs. But we're off of that now, so it's not as great anymore. I was actually hoping for a novice gap down, move down, close bar red, gap down into demand. That would be what's called a novice gap, but it's not happening no more. So the setup got a little less exciting, to use a better word. But if we do continue down, all right, this is going to be the area of location where I might consider wanting to do what's called a front side entry, long call, bullish. All right, but this is holding up a little bit of strength too. Yesterday it got cooked along with most FANG stocks yesterday, but we'll see how the intraday how the intraday tape develops. All right, Nvidia coming down, which is good. I want to own this in my long-term portfolio, so I'm in sell put mode on this still. Okay, I took a couple of small little losses up here, swing trade, trying to work off this level here. It wants to come lower, let it come lower. And for this morning, slight gap down, but we have a level right here. And let me just check AMD. AMD had a breakdown yesterday, but AMD is also at that weekly. All right, let me just switch over into take a swim here. We just got the market open. Let me check internals really quickly. Okay, there's something called internals. Map out the overnight high, overnight low in VIX. All right, that's one thing I didn't do that I must do here real quick. Market just opened. Be patient today, folks. Okay, yesterday was, there's some dust still in the air from yesterday's fire, right? So still hot, right? Still hot. All right, so be patient. All right, mapping out the overnight high, overnight low in VIX. All right, so if this market rallies, this VIX will collapse. Yesterday all day VIX up, market down, right? So anyways, moving on here. Advanced declines, plus 700, give or take. Not super extreme. Extreme would be plus or minus 2,000. All right, Vol D, volume on the New York Stock Exchange, up versus down. The ratio is slightly negative, -1 to 1, which is not super extreme. Extreme would be -3. You can see yesterday was extreme selling here. All right, so these are just internals that will help me, or us, traders, get edge. All right, let's move on here. Let me go to the tickers. All right, again, I'm just going to focus on FANG. All right, let's see. Although Tesla was a little weird location-wise so far, holding a little bit of the bid there. Apple. All right, so I got the 60-minute here, 30-minute here, 5-minute 2 here. So what I'm looking for is a setup bar. It's called a setup bar. Now JP Morgan. Be patient today, folks. Be patient all the time, but be patient. Let things develop. Microsoft. Oh man, I wish Microsoft was in that level there. Let me see what's Q's. Q's still coming down a little bit there. All right, we're in this level on Q's. Let me see. So the irony which this morning right now is Tesla's giving us a decent little wide range bar off open on the 2-minute time frame. You might want to wait for the first 15 minutes, but Tesla's giving us a little something here. But I want to be patient on that. JP Morgan. Let's see. Inside bar. I mean, JP Morgan's worth a stab here too. Wide range bar, positive COG. I took a trade on JP Morgan yesterday. It just takes forever. We're on inside day. We broke down a little bit yesterday, but JP Morgan looks like it's holding bids here. We have wide range bar off open here. AVGO, we took a short on this yesterday. AVGO is a continuation drop and negative COG off open. AVGO puts look good here. So I want to make sure we're not getting down too close. We got some room down to go on the weeklies, so this looks decent here. We got a kind of gappy fill here, but AVGO long put bearish. All right, this was yesterday's trade. So if you go to July 26 expiration, long put AVGO ticker Broadcom. Let's see, if you picked up, say, the 148 strike put, those are going for about 215, this bottom one right here. All right. So, yeah, AVGO long put July 26 expiration. That will be the first one on the dock here this morning. Bearish long put July 26, 148 strike. All right. And think or swim. Once you hear this click here, that means I am going to be in. I will give you the price in which I get filled. So long put AVGO, July 26. I just put the order in. Let's see. Just got filled right now with that ding there for $2. Okay, I'll lock that up. All right, so I just bought puts here for $2. The spread is a little wide on this. This just split not too long ago. So this is long put bearish. All right, a little bit of a gap that we're filling down there on daily, so I want to be a little cautious on that, but fairly decent. All right, JP Morgan, not the strongest 5-minute opening bar here. Just be patient. Tesla's trying to do something here. Tesla's trying to do something here. I could work off this 5-minute wide range bar here, but I want to keep risk a little smaller on Tesla here today because it's not the greatest location. It's just in the middle here, kind of in the middle of the abyss, no man's land here. So I want to be careful with this one here. Let's just see what these look like. Let me see, July 26th, just for a quick day trade. Let's see. Yeah, I might want to be patient on that. Be patient today, folks. NVIDIA, AMD. I'm going to get long put AMD. Let me just make sure I'm not coming too far into this demand. We are in weekly demand. That's going to be the caveat here. But semiconductors are a mess right now. So if I go long AMD here, not long, long put, bearish. Let's see what that looks like here. Not too bad for risk. If I pick up the 140 strike put there, they're only going for about $1.60, $1.70. All right, we are lower in this weekly demand, but it's not the first time, so we'll see. See if we can get a little bit more momentum here. AMD long put. All right, I'll pull the trigger on this 140 strike. All right, I'll get you the fill in a moment here. All right, 172 fill is what I bought these puts for. Okay, long put, bearish. Off this negative COG, or just wide range bar off, wide range bar. All right, put that line there to represent that. All right, Tesla's still not. JP Morgan doing something there for us still. JP Morgan seems like the only bid right now. All right, JP Morgan long call. Not the greatest condition because it's just been kind of weird here in the on the dailies, but we are holding up and we're off the rising 20 here on daily. So we got a positive COG, so we just got to execute it here. I want to be a little careful with that AMD because we are low on that weekly, okay, folks? Let me see. JP Morgan, this was yesterday's trade. Let me see. If you pick up the 210 strike, they're going for about $1.32, that bottom one right here. All right. All right. So 210 strike call, that bottom one right there. July 26th for a quick little day trade long call. JP Morgan. I gotta be very careful with that AMD because it's, I looked at that weekly level down there and that was a caveat on that. What am I doing? 210 strike call, JP Morgan. Let's see if we can get some momentum on that. See here. I just got filled at 115 on that bottom 210 strike call. Check on AMD. Make sure I don't get trapped on AMD. All right, so we got a VWAP test on AMD. Want to be careful with this one because of the location on weeklies. So we're down here on weeklies, so I gotta be a little careful on that one here. All right, let's see. Tesla. Tesla is breaking the 5-minute wide range bar off open here, so albeit it's not the greatest location in the world too. Let me just check VIX. Fairly quiet so far, very early. Yeah, I want to be careful with the bullish exposure. All right, SPYs are below VWAP. All right, so Tesla's kind of bucking the market a little bit here. Let's see. If I were to go look kind of low risk on Tesla, what does that look like? If I go lower my delta here, let me see. I'll go low risk on delta here with Tessie, 227 strike call. Now this, be careful with this one here too. All right, not the greatest location. 227 half strike call. I don't want to delete this work here. This is the earnings work that we did there. So I know for you free YouTubers, it might be a little weird to look at all this stuff here, but the bottom one right there, if you focus, 2275, July 26. Be careful with this one. I'm going lower delta just because this isn't the strongest setup in the world. This is also bucking the trend a little bit here on dailies, but Tesla is always a stock that kind of like does its own thing. It lives in its own world. So I'm lowering my delta here, 227 half. All right, probably even just do half size on this, to be honest with you. Not risk 1%, maybe 0.5% risk. So therefore, it can't hurt too much if it doesn't fall through. So it's about half size there. Got filled at $2 for the 227 half strike. All right. So a cautious bull trade. Cautious bullish. Okay, tamed bull. All right. All right, JP Morgan trying to chug away there. All right, let's see. Apple not giving us anything just yet. Meta. Man, I really wanted Microsoft off that level. Let me see. What's QCOM doing? Let's see. QCOM. Flushed in deeper into that daily. QCOM might be interesting. It's not. I would wait for it to develop and clearly take out this this opening bar print here, and I would say even conquer and reclaim this gap fill right here. So QCOM needs to prove a bit more of if this daily demand zone is going to work out. It's setting up decent above its VWAP, but I want to just be a little careful with the bullish exposure here this morning. But that was decent. All right, Microsoft. I might even put a front side entry limit order in. If I had more time, I'd show you how to do that for free YouTube. But for my phantoms in here, you might want to look at this Microsoft here, front side entry 425 handle, give or take. MU. MU, nice, move down, move down. This is a novice gap down. They liquidity sweeped. MU's interesting, folks. MU's really interesting. They just liquidity sweeped. Okay, and that's on the 200 pair moving average too on daily. This is good. All right, this is good. This is even fairly decent for a swing trade because it's nice deeper into the weeklies and monthlies here, and I see how they just swiped a quick little new monthly low real quick off the 200 pair moving average here on the daily time frame. So this is decent. Now we also can go. We have another little level down here too. So I'll just put that into perspective. Okay, but MU might not be too bad here for a swing long. In addition to day trade. All right. Matter of fact, we took a nice little trade off this yesterday. Let's see. We came lower, novice gap down, but even for a swing potentially, even if you went out to maybe September-ish, I'd have to check what earnings are on MU, Micron. But if you went to maybe September, October, this might not be too bad for a nice little bounce on a swing trade, not just a day trade. Even if you went like a, maybe like a slightly out of the money here, 33 delta, give or take, those 120 strike calls are only going to be about $4. This might not be too bad for a swing. All right, I might even just put that into the Phantoms community picks and communications. I know we have a member, Santo, that was really looking at this level 2 as well, and he had this mapped out. So, nice little novice gap down into this level here. That's a good setup. That's not bad. So that's for our swing, the 120 strike call, give or take. All right, but for the day trade, even if you did a quick little day trade here today, that swing and day, if you went to July 26th, that's my time. I just got the timer that just beeped off. I'm only here for an hour with y'all, but for a day trade, if you wanted to get your risk a bit more smaller here, you pick up the 110. Those are going for about $1.05, $1.05 per contract. All right, the two bottom ones there, that's for today's new price. All right, this was a trade that we took yesterday. Not bad. All right, there's Microsoft coming down deeper, swiping into that level. All right, so I know it might be scary, but it might be a little bit of something here happening in Microsoft for a bounce. It's a front side entry. It's a little scary. But it's fairly decent. All right, I want to be right. If you're in AMD, let's see. Are these printing a little bit there? I want to be very careful with AMD, okay, because we're closer into that weekly. But AMD is starting to, made a new low here. All right, so you can even just scale out. I want to be very careful with YouTube, but make sure we have equal to new lows. Okay, we talked a lot about this liquidity map quadrant. Okay, so equal to or new lows. I'm short, so I want equal to or new lows. Quadrant number 4, about to cover. All right, let me see. Did AVGO make a new low? Trying to right now. So AVGO back below VWAP. We'll see if that continues down too. Be patient here today, folks. Not a lot of fall through here in the morning. Apple breaking down a bit more. Apple bearish. Apple intraday tape is bearish. Negative COG here. Apple negative COG phantoms. Dell. All right, I gotta go, folks. Usually I trade with the group. Dell is somewhat similar. Dell is somewhat similar to MU. Yep. Intraday tape is not as powerful as MU, but it's very similar. Yeah. For you phantoms, make sure you pull your VWAPs here today. Pull your VWAPs every day. You pull your VWAPs every day, but VWAPs, make sure. Come on, girl, COG. Make sure stay focused. All right, right now markets are kind of digesting a bit, but VIX slightly creeping higher. And follow your VWAPs. All right, that's daily VWAPs. Spies are below. All right, spies are below. Qs as well. Okay, Apple. Anybody taking Apple? I gotta go. I wish I could just say it here, even with y'all on YouTube here. Apple flush. Amazon. So Fang is not having a good time here today. All right, Fang's not having a good time here today again. Continuation, all Fang. Out on day. All right, so far. All right, other than Microsoft. All right, still, well, yes, it's still down on day, but Microsoft has that level right here, that daily, the daily level. All right, make sure you TP some AMD down here. We'll have to manage that a little bit more aggressive. All right, Qualcomm did not prove to us. All right, but just put this in perspective. Remember, be patient. All right, VIX is not screaming up here today so far. All right, make sure you still see that we are at this demand level here on Qs. All right, and they swiped a little bit here, so we'll see if this is going to be a liquidity fish right here. All right, so be patient today. All right, but the side to be on right now is bearish below VWAP, but be very careful here. All right, if we start to break above daily VWAP, that blue line right here, all right, make sure that don't just hold on to shorts just because you think it's going to go down. Okay. All right, get out, flip if need be. All right, folks. But that's my time. Hopefully, you learned a little something here. If you're not a Phantom yet, if this is somewhat of interest to you, go to phantoms.com, TradePhantoms.com. Next Wednesday, July 31st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, it's going to be a 90-minute class, give or take, just kind of give you the lay of the land of Phantoms and kind of what we do, what we're all about, right? First name, email, you get sent an email link, and there's kind of an agenda, syllabus, if you will, of what's going to be covered, right? Short-term, long-term trading, stocks, futures, forex, options, up, down, sideways, how professionals analyze the market, institutional order flow, demand, supply, qualified levels of demand and supply, okay? Structure, location, pretty simple. Buy low, sell high, buy low. Liquidity, that's it. Buys and sells, no thoughts, no feelings. Everything based on execution and edge. Risk management being the key foundation, okay? All right, folks, I gotta go. I'll see y'all. Trade safe. Be patient. Let the market develop, okay? And I'll see some of you Phantoms tonight in class, and then tomorrow, God willing, as well, for our to finish off the week in the live trade room. God bless. Take care. Blue out.